Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to FPL Focus. I'm back in the shed. I'm looking at my team. I've had a good week. I'm very, very happy. And this looks like, hopefully, the start, since Gameweek 17, the start of the big recovery and the big climb up the league. So, let's go and have a look and see what's going on. What we're looking at today, though, first, got it up on here, just put this out on Twitter. So we're going to have a quick review of my team performance. We'll look at the Who Really Lovesit League standings, which is looking quite hot at the top now. Team of the week, who got this week at 93 points after they had 8 points deducted. So into the century with the players they had, but took a couple of hits, obviously. We'll have a little chat about the games that have been midweek. Obviously, we've looked at the games so far, but there's obviously been Man United have played, City have played, Leeds have played in the cup as well. A couple of things to note from that. Then my Watchlist update, which I've got a new format for that. We'll have a look at that towards the end. And then any question and answers. And all of that in half an hour because I'm on the school run. Okay, so we've got to crack on. We've got to crack on. If you do want to get involved in the show, then please, if you see the box just below me there, then you can put your comments in and they should appear. Although there's some writing in it, so that's got me a little bit worried. Can I just refresh that? Not sure why that's there. I shall, I don't know what's going on there. Let's click refresh. Let's see what happens. So hopefully if you do type up, it should appear in that box now. So without further ado, let's go to the first point and have a look at my final team performance. So triple captain was played this week, 96 points. So happy as Larry. Obviously that's 92 because I've got my -4. You can see I made 3 transfers during this game week. It wasn't the best for me. I brought in Lewis, Kane, and I can't even remember now. Shaw, was it? Yeah, Shaw. It seems so long ago because there's been a double game week. Abdullah, how you doing, mate? Thanks for coming back and joining us. Good to see you. Good to see you. Let's see how the week, just going through my game week. So 96 points. Kepa in goal with 10 points. And just hearing on the press conferences, Reece James and Ben Chilwell back in training, but not looking to be playing this game week. So I'm very hopeful for the Chelsea defence moving forward. So I was a bit sceptical about Kepa at the beginning of this game week, but as of now, I'm not. Trippier, we've all got him. Bonus magnet, talked about him already. Shaw, obviously, didn't get many extra points last night. Was it just 2 points for each game? So, yeah, a bit disappointed in Luke Shaw, to be honest with you. This game week, wasn't expecting much against City, but I was really hoping last night that Analyse free kick, while it was a beauty, bit of a dagger to the heart, wasn't it? Let's be honest, last minute. So yeah, that was, and then Lewis, my other little punt, he got the game last night. I was a bit gutted, but I was hoping for that clean sheet in the end. Spurs, yeah, we'll come to those games in a moment. Yeah, but Spurs just didn't looked all right in the first half. Certainly those 2 goals were really good, weren't they, before half time in quick succession. But City did come back and smash it. But he is going to be my first sort of like bench option, or him and Bueno are going to be fighting for that first defender bench option as a general rule, because I did miss out on Ben White's points. Disappointed about that, to be honest with you, up against Tottenham. But I thought Tottenham would do a little bit better, and I just didn't see the clean sheet, to be honest with you. Not with Harry Kane up top, away at Spurs. But just goes to show, I think Arsenal are pretty, at this moment, they're pretty untouchable, and it doesn't matter if they're home or away, they're looking like winning, aren't they? Yeah, we'll talk about the next game week in a moment. Fernandez, 19 points, absolutely a superstar for me this week. Massive differential. He's owned by, what, 4.4%. I'm assuming that's probably increased as well as the game week's gone on. So great news for me and helped me climb the ranks. We'll have a look at what that's meant in a minute. De Bruyne didn't play yesterday, and I can only assume that is down. I don't know. So if you do know, and you're watching now, why didn't De Bruyne play last night? I can only assume it's down to personal reasons, because I don't think he's the problem at City, to be honest with you. Maybe Pep sees it differently. He has been, like, heard him say earlier in this season, he's going off body language a lot more. And then Rashford last night, he was just after that goal, wasn't he? His head wasn't in the same place as where it's been. You could see that last night, but he's had a great game week, you know, average 6 points per game, so I'm very happy with that. Martinelli, we've talked about these guys already because it was for last game week. Thankfully, Haaland came up with a goal last night, so my triple captain wasn't totally wasted. So to say I'm happy with that, I mean, I had Mane when he got 3 points one year. Salah, I think I got more points with Salah last year, but it was a weekend that everybody captained him. Basically, I gained an extra 8 points. It's not here nor there. At least it wasn't fully wasted this year. I feel I got like a bit of something out of it. And I've had a good week overall, so I'm not going to complain about it. It's done. It's out of the way. I don't need to worry about it anymore. And yeah, moving on, moving forward. Kane managed to get something, got an assist last night, and doing what Harry Kane does in terms of he ticks along, doesn't he? And he ticks along nicely. He doesn't stop with the delivery. But what we're not getting, we've had a major haul there up against Crystal Palace, but that's the rarity as opposed to the norm. You know, the biggest, you know, 6s, 7s, 8s, 9s, 10s. There's no sort of, there's only just the one of those big smashes. So great news to be having him in my team because I wanted him for that. I'm just not going to be going to anybody else. I'm not going to be, you know, considering him for captaincy, to be honest with you. But there again, I'm not really. I'm still on the Haaland boat. Let's have a quick look at the messages. Abdullah, you did really well. Fernandes and Mahrez were the answer. Yes, Mahrez was the answer, and he has made it to my watch list, and we'll see. I've got a new rating system for that. So if you've seen it last week, I had it all like budget, premium, and then mid-priced, all sort of like done like that. Now I've just got it defenders, midfielders, forwards, and I've ranked them in order of how much I want them in my team. So yeah, we'll come and see that in a bit shortly. Just good news. I mean, we all hate seeing points on the bench, but it's good to know that you've got the squad depth at the same time as well. So I'm pleased with that. I'm pleased. Okay, let's go and have a look at the team of the week, the mini league, see who that is. And our manager of the week is Neil Satis. Nice to have an Evertonian. Do have something to be happy about, so well done to you, mate, with your team Groundhogs. Let's go and have a look at who you had in your team this week. And you have got, basically, you've got Mahrez. You haven't got Fernandes, which I did expect to see in there, to be honest with you. But Kepa in goal, similar. Shaw, Trippier. You played White. You weren't worried about that game against Spurs. I'm assuming, or maybe he came in for Cucurella for you. I'm not too sure. But Rashford, Almiron, we've got Dalbrian. But Mahrez has been the one. You've obviously used your triple captain as well. And these are the things that have taken you just that little bit further. So well done to you. Fantastic, Neil Satis. Hope you have another great game week this week. Thanks for being in the league. Are you going to be the person who climbs the league and wins this bad boy? Yes. I love FPL mug for the winner of the Who Really Loves It League to drink out of every morning and remind yourself how much you love it. I've got one. This one's got a brew in. It's not the same one. With nice coffee. It's not bad, to be fair. Tesco's own. It was cheap. Right. So that's the team of the week. But what else is there to see from our league? What other can we take from it? Best transfers this week. Nihal Fayez. 22 points. So we're going to see who those transfers were. Let's see if we can find out. I've not set this one up, I'm afraid, but that one's interested me. Let's have a look and see who Nihal's transfers were. This is Premier Fantasy Tools, by the way. Links in the description below. Hello, Elvis. How you doing, mate? Good to have you back on board. What to do with Cancelo? For me, this is, and I hasten to add this. I'm not an expert, certainly not. You can see my rank. I'm not there. I just loves it, and I just try to share what I'm doing as one set of opinions. But for me, he's not guaranteed the start, and when you're having to pay that amount of money for him, I just think there's not loads of better options, to be honest with you. But he's just as likely to play as Rico Lewis, for example, as any of those defenders. And they're conceding goals. They're conceding goals, so I'm not exactly thrilled by the Man City defence, to be honest with you. But I'll show you my watch list in a bit, and maybe that might give you an idea or two. And maybe any Abdullah or anybody else watching wants to make a suggestion, then that'd be great. So this is Nihal. As we can see, he's been around the 100, 200,000 mark for most of the season. So doing really, really well. So very impressed with that, mate. Can we see your transfers? Let's have a look. Has he got it here? So this is really good if you really want to have a bit of a dig deep into your own team. Where's your transfers? Oh, it's not there. Right, okay, maybe if we went through the FPL bench analysis. Oh, I haven't got loads of time. Like I say, I'm on the school running sort of 20 minutes or so. Positions, points per game week, points by formation. So there's loads of great stuff on this website. FPL team performance, team value, captain picks, captain analysis. Can't see where the transfers are. Can't see it. Okay, I'm going to have to leave that one, I'm afraid. But great stuff. If we click on here, do we get it? I'll give it one or more options. Does this take us to the main website? I know sometimes it takes you to... No, it doesn't. It just brings you to the same thing. So let's just go back. Right. What else can we learn from our league? Most captain. I mean, these are the same stats as the other day. We've already gone through these. Most transferred in and out. So it's a bit of a waste of time unless you're on mini league template. I'll just share that with everybody just in case you didn't watch big review the other day. Ward, Arrizabalaga, Kepa, Everson, Raya making up the goalkeepers, Trippier, Shaw, Cancelo. This was obviously last week. Things will change as people are making their transfers for the week, but this doesn't, obviously, until the new game week starts. Ben White, Patterson. Midfielders, Rashford was the most owned, Martinelli, De Bruyne, Andreas. Wonder what people are going to do with De Bruyne. For me, I'm sticking. Haaland, Mitrovic, Kane, Tony, and then Martial. These are the players that come in as a differential. Interestingly, Fernandes didn't make it into there. I wonder how many more it will make it into, and how many more teams will be in by the end of this game week. But no, lovely to see a few new members of the league as well. We're getting to a good size, 44 managers now. So thank you very much to everybody. If you are watching this and you haven't joined, guess where the link is? Yes, it's below, right down the bottom in the comments in the description that I've put up. So massive well done to you there, Neil Satis, last week. Right, what's next on the list? Let's have a look. Who Really Loves It? Team of the week. Remaining Premier League matches. So we've had a couple of games, haven't we? We've had the City game. We've had the Man United game. A couple of notes that I've got here is A, Fernandes is back to his best. I'm not sure. Let's have a look. Has the United double game week been announced yet? I seem to keep looking and nothing seems to be coming up. Let's go and have a quick check of Ben Krellin, see if anything's been announced. I did read through, look at that, he's number one. I don't even have to type his name in, I've been there that many times. Anybody else keep doing this on Ben's page? He's having a great season. No, was a bit disappointed. 18 hours. Plans for currently. No, so it looks like there's not been an announcement for the Man United game as yet for double game week, which a lot of people are sort of expecting. In fact, as I was going through Twitter sort of like yesterday evening, everyone's talking about it like it's been confirmed, but as of yet, nothing has been confirmed. But we're expecting it, highly likely. But yeah, great goal from Fernandes. He does look like back to his best. I'm very happy to have him on my team. Not looking at transferring him out at this moment in time. But then they weren't quite the same team in the second half. They looked great in the first half. Part of it, I think, is down to Rashford, who was just desperate to get that goal, wasn't he? You could just see he wanted it, but it wasn't to be. And I'm not thinking that any of them are bad assets going forward. However, they have got Arsenal in this next game. So whether it's time to bring United in for this game week 21 or wait until 22 might be, you know, that's up to you to decide, I suppose. If you've already got them, you're certainly not taking them out. You're riding your luck. But I will be, for me, I think, be putting Shaw on the bench after we found out Casemiro, well, not found out, after we see Casemiro get the stupidest of yellow cards. I've never seen such a stupid tackle in all my life. I think he was just worrying about it because he'd given away a free kick before. I think it was in his head. And he went in for the tackle and he was just, his head was out. And, yeah, and he's just giving that up, hasn't he? So, with that in mind, I think Arsenal were going to win anyway. I think they're really going to win now because he has been a major player for them in, you know, cutting things out as, you know, the full backs are getting forward. He's been a real cover for them and doing really great stuff for them. As far as Crystal Palace go, lovely sort of free kick from Crystal Palace at Elise. Great goal, to be fair, but I still don't see anybody that I want in my team, to be honest with you. Let me know if you think any difference there. But for me, there's nobody. They're just not consistent enough. Although they've got Newcastle next. I expect that to be a slightly tougher game for Newcastle than it would have been with that late goal. That sort of breeds a little bit of confidence. Obviously, that can be eroded with an early goal by Newcastle, but that will give them a lift going into this game, I do believe. So that's it. What I'm thinking about there. City, talked about no De Bruyne or Cancelo. For me, Cancelo, personally, if I still had him, it'd be a sell, even with a double game week coming up. And maybe, I think Akanji has probably had the most amount of minutes. Stones look pretty assured. He seems to want to go with this three at the back. It's almost like it's not my fault for the tactics I'm playing. It's your fault for not having enough fire and passion in your belly. Never seen Pep do an interview like that after the game, to be honest with you. He seemed really down, even though they'd won the game, which I think bodes well, actually. It's not a case of get rid of City players because they're leaking goals. I think it's avoid the defence, maybe, and concentrate on their attacking assets, which, to be honest, has just been De Bruyne and Haaland, but then De Bruyne's missed a game. Don't know why as yet. And maybe Mahrez. Maybe we should be considering Mahrez. It's one of those. We've owned Mahrez before, all of us, I'm sure, along the way, and then been bitten by the rest that he gets. But if you've got a strong first bench player, maybe it's not the worst player to have in your team. But he is around the 8 million mark. How much is he? Where is he? We're in the wrong team here. So Mahrez. Let's have a look and see how he's been doing. So history. 17 points last night. I mean, since game week 17, he's been an absolute mainstay in this team. Played in every single game. The only one he didn't play in, he came on and managed to get a goal. So is that his good run over? Is he on absolute top form and should not be ignored at this moment in time? Maybe he's a bring in. I don't know. What do you guys think? Just have a quick look at the comments. Now, let me just finish on City and Spurs and then I'll go to the comments after that. Say I've got the score. I've got 10 minutes to go. So if you have got any questions, do get them into the comments now. But yeah, Mahrez has been absolutely smashing it since the return. I'm featuring in every game, which is more than you can say for a lot of City players. How much is he? 7.5, so a really good price. Owned more than you'd think, possibly 5%. Maybe that's gone up in the last couple of days. Not too sure. I haven't been monitoring it, to be honest with you. But you know, form of 7.8. You know, stuff of dreams, that, isn't it? Let's be honest. Stuff of dreams, form like that in your team at that price. Whether he stays or not is another thing. What else? Spurs just started great. Looked good to start off with. A Kulusevski assist, but certainly not anybody we're going in on at this moment in time. Like I say, as I touched on when I looked at my team, Harry Kane, he's one of those that's just going to tick along with the points for us. I'm very happy to have him as a result, but I think he's the only one at this moment in time who's going to deliver something consistently. I mean, they conceded 4 goals in 45 minutes, so certainly the defence is nothing to grab hold of, is it, and get involved in whatsoever. So that's the games review. What else have we said we're going to have a look at? Oh, got some notifications. Watch list. Okay. Let me just see if anybody sent me any. Oh, Gazman, lovely. Thanks very much. Retweeting my tweet for me. Hopefully you're on, mate. Not sure if you are or not. Let me know if you are, Gazman. You've been retweeting it a couple of times for me. Thanks very much. Appreciate that. More people we get in on the streams, the more opinions we get, which is great. Right, let's go and have a look at the comments. Just put my team back up on here whilst I do so. So Yomo, what to do with Cancelo? I think like I say, my response is just sell and bring somebody else in. Abdullah, hey Elvis, nice to see you. Oh, lovely little conversation there. I think you can avoid City defence in general. Yeah, Newcastle and Arsenal are great assets. Absolutely. Elvis, you too, lovely. Having problems with the team, what to do with Cancelo? Yeah, Crystal Palace should be ignored. Well, I think Spurs should replace Lloris. Me too, as long as it's not with Jordan Pickford, because we sort of need him at this moment in time. But I think that's coming, isn't it, mate? I think it's coming. Right, let me go and have a look and let me see what you think. I've been working on this. Let's see if it works. Let's see if this works. I'm using oh, there we go. I meant to take the other one away first. This is my watch list, and I'm using some of the graphics I use for my thumbnails. So I've started, and I've got goalkeepers. Here we go. Oh, it's jumping a bit. Oh, look at that. Going slow. Right, when I made it, it moved a little bit faster. There we go. So these are the goalkeepers, and I'm rating them with blue hearts, basically. It's me sort of symbol, part of the mug. Let's go and sip of me brew while we're at it. And these are the three sort of goalkeepers I'm keeping an eye on at the moment. Do comment now in the comments if you think there's anybody that's missing, so anybody who's watching this stream back later on can see what everybody else's thoughts are on goalkeepers. But excuse me, these are ranked from top to bottom. So Pope and Sanchez, for me, they're both 3 hearts. There's different prices between the two. I think Pope would be my first choice because he'll get more points. But then Sanchez is obviously a little bit cheaper as well and got some good fixtures. Martinez, I'm watching. It's almost a long-term watch. 24, game week 23 and 24, quite difficult for Aston Villa. So it's possibly from game week 25. So these are the goalkeepers that, if I was looking to replace Kepa, and this is how I'm going to be doing things now, I'm going to be having this list, and then if I need to replace one of my players in defence, midfield, in goal, I go to my list, and basically which player I can afford. There's me warning for almost the school run. Which player I can afford, closest to the top of the list, probably will be the one that I look to bring in, depending on whether that means a triple up or not and stuff like that as well. But looking to recruit from as close to the top of my list and have those recruitments, you know, already scouted, if you like, in place. And that's the idea of this list. Let's just see if any comments about that. Pope is the best keeper in the game in FPL. I'm glad he's not so highly owned. I'm assuming you've got him then, Abdullah. So I think it's good. I've got him top of my list. I think if it wasn't for the fact I've got Trippier, I don't really like doubling up on defence. It could well be in my list as well. Now, the next one, if we move on to defenders, thanks for your contribution there, mate. Loving it. Oh, look, that it all moved out properly. There we go. So, defenders, I've only got 2 on the list. Shah at Newcastle. I think he's probably, and what I've not got in here, if you haven't noticed, I've not got prices. I think too often I bring in like for like around about the same price. I'm looking at players that as the player that they are, basically, and how much I want them and how much I don't. Yeah, definitely got Pope. Well, good on you, mate. Good on you. Well played. So yeah, I've got Shah at Newcastle as my favourite defender to bring in if I need to replace anybody at this moment in time. Oh look, I get a cheeky little arrow. One goes one way, one goes the other. That's funny, isn't it? I'm using Canva for the first time to try and do a bit of a presentation. We'll see how it goes. Feels a bit more grown up than PowerPoint. But it's slowing my computer down a little bit as it looks. So yeah, and then Estepinian at Brighton, probably, you know, a fullback. Options to get forward and create some stuff. He's not really on my radar, to be honest with you, but there isn't many, you know. You know, obviously players like Gabriel and Saliba, probably higher than that, but because I've got, excuse me, an Arsenal defender already, that's why they're not sort of featuring on this list. I don't want to do the double up on them because when they come to the double game week in 23, I'd like to do the double in the attack, Odegaard and Martinelli, which brings me to the midfield. Oh, look at that, zooming in. How is it going to come back in? All in one, boring. It's supposed to come in bits anyway. So, top of my list, I've been talking about him for weeks now, Odegaard, and he's the only player in my ratings this week that gets the 5 blue hearts. Outstanding season so far. Highest scoring actual midfielder in the game, not somebody who plays in the role that that Salah plays in, Martinelli plays in, and he's playing close to goal, and he's shooting from outside the box, and he's shooting nicely, and he's delivering consistently, and he just looks an absolute baller, doesn't he? What a player, and love to have somebody like him at Everton. Love it, absolutely love it. Fair dues, Mikel Arteta done a fantastic job so far. And I do believe Arsenal, that's it. They, the league is theirs now. Without, they've really got to fall off a cliff. They've got to play City twice, so that's interesting. But I think they'll win one, lose one, maybe. So I think that'll even itself out. City have got to win both of those to do anything and win all their remaining games, probably from now till the end of the season. Because I can't see. I think there's 8 points difference. I can't see. Or is it 5 now? But there's a game in hand. Can't see City, Arsenal losing 3 games between now and the end of the season. And then City winning them all. So, yeah, for me, it's Arsenal's league now to throw away in a big way. Second on my list, Mitoma for Brighton. Some good fixtures. Looking hot, looking dangerous, and a differential, I think at like 1.4% owned, which is absolutely ridiculous for a player that's playing the way he is. And £5 million as well. So he, for me, is probably the player I'm going to bring in this week. I'm not going to make my transfers till the breakfast stream tomorrow morning, which I'm going to do around somewhere between 8 and 9 a.m. or 8 and 9 o'clock GMT if you're from around the world. Working down the list, remember this is in ranked order. I've got Ward-Prowse, who is... Look, I want to get the arrow facing, pointing towards it, but I can't. Ward-Prowse comes third for me. I just think he's playing in that role. He's going to play every single minute for them. He's on free kicks, and he's got that new role. I just don't know Southampton well enough under Nathan Jones yet. I mean, he did really well against Everton, and let's be honest, we're Everton, we're doing shocking at this minute in time, so I don't think I can make a full decision based on that. If you are watching and you want to comment on midfielders, by the way, if there's somebody I've missed off this list, or you think somebody should be higher or lower on this list, then please do share the comments for me and everybody else. Then Rodrigo, he looks like he's back. He's scored in midweek in the FA Cup, albeit against lower league opposition. Him and Nonto look absolutely on fire for Leeds, and they don't have a bad run of fixtures, to be honest. Jesse March did look like he was for the chop, but maybe not. It looks like he's saved his job, I think, for the moment in time anyway. Next on the list, and I think this guy is higher on other people's sort of radar, Solly March, but for me, and this is my list, I just don't know if he can keep it up. He's never been on my radar. I've sort of looked at him before, but I've never had him in my team, I don't think. And he's just not somebody that I want to go and take. And with Mitoma so high on my list, and probably the player I'm going to be bringing in this week, I'm not going to be doubling up on the midfield. But he is playing really well. He's scored 44 points since game week 17 onwards, and if you had him last week, very well done to you. But to sign him and bring him in this week, for me, feels a little bit like chasing points. Bear in mind, he's scored 5 goals this season already. His target is 10, and there's still sort of 19 game weeks to go for another 5 goals. So he's only targeting himself 1 goal every 4 games. So just not for me. Bailey possibly should be higher, but because of the fixtures, like I've already alluded to, game week 23, 24, he's not. But from 25 onwards, he looks like a fantastic signing the way he's playing at the minute. So he's on the watch list to keep an eye on over the next few weeks, and maybe somebody to bring in in the future. Maybe I'll replace him for Matoma once his purple patch runs out, if it runs out. And just trying to keep my options open and look a little bit further ahead. And then Mudryk, nobody knows how he's going to settle in. He did fantastic in the Ukrainian league. Sometimes it takes a season for these players to set in. Sometimes they hit the ground running. So he's a watch. You know, he'd be an interesting player to have if Chelsea start to play like we think they should be able to for the size of the club and the amount of money they've spent on players. He could be a great signing, particularly as they don't have a prolific number 9 at this moment in time either. They are looking at the goals and, you know, setting up their play to come from those areas as well, with the signing of Felix as well, who's going to be on the other wing. So interesting times for Chelsea. So yeah, let's just go and have a look at the comments, see what people have got to say. And I have got to be quick. I've got maximum 5 minutes and I have to get in the car. So, Abdullah, both Estupinian and Shah are great picks. Thanks, mate. I think you can choose alternatively, for example, Pope and Estupinian or Sanchez and Shah. Yeah, Shah is also a good scorer. He was unlucky to hit the post. Yeah, it was. He took a free kick. Him and Trippier stood over it, but it was Shah that took it, and it was very unlucky not to go in. Lots of power behind it, and I fully expect him to take the odd one every now and then as well. And I know a lot of people have gone for Botman because he's a little bit cheaper, but I think if you're considering Botman and you've got the extra, can't remember what it is now, couple of million, you know, 0.45 million, whatever it is, I think Shah, personally, in my opinion, is a better pick. Paul Anthony Jones, oi oi, Savaloy! Welcome to the stream, mate. Good old friend of mine. Nice to have you on board, mate. Member of the league. How you doing? How's the family? Not on the school run then. Abdullah, Bamford is back in the score sheet, so maybe Rodrigo won't play as a forward. Yes, absolutely, mate. Hence why he's so far down. I just think Bamford is he the same player he was the season when everybody had him, when he was the budget forward to have and everybody changed their tactics around him? I'm not so sure he is. I don't think his place is assured. Which brings me on to the forwards nicely. Thank you very much. It's like a super link. It's like we're working together on this, Abdullah. Cheers, mate. So, forwards. I've only got 3. And Ferguson's written in capitals down the bottom. Don't know why. I'll change. I should have changed that. But Tony is top of the tree for me. If I could have Tony in my team, I would. But basically, I've chosen Kane ahead of him. Maybe, you know, they are actually in competition for that place at this moment in time. And maybe I'm with Kane just because he's the more expensive pick. Maybe, I mean, I signed him because it was a double game week, hoping to get a good return. But they're pretty much like for like in terms of points returns. And maybe I'll go back to Tony at some point. Excuse me, but the ownership with Kane was affecting my rank. And then the next player down, Nonto, who I am seriously not bringing in this game week, but next game week. £5 million forward. What a beautiful volley it was. That goal, absolutely beautiful goal that he scored. Was it Reading or Cardiff? Can't remember, but in the FA Cup the other day. And I've been talking about him actually since I think it was game week 17, saying that, or maybe he's one for next season. Maybe he's one for next season. And then he just seems to keep doing bits. So he's had a goal and an assist so far. And, you know, if I was to bring him in, he would be my first bench option. And I'm thinking him and Mitoma would be my £5 million rotation options. I was thinking about bringing Ferguson in. There is a possibility Brighton have a blank in game week 25. Also Newcastle, to be honest with you. Ferguson is obviously not Brighton either. Yes, he is. Sorry, Tony's not Brighton. He's obviously Brentford. So a little typo there. I'm full of them. So yeah, that is the watch list. Anybody else got any forwards they would add to that? Do add into the comments now. Otherwise, we are going to go back and see if anybody's got any questions. Ask them now. Otherwise, it's goodbye from me. At this point, I'm going to ask you, please do subscribe to the channel. Please do hit the notifications. These streams, unfortunately, as much as I try to plan them, excuse me, and tell you when they're coming, just life happens, and I've got a family, and it just doesn't seem to work that way. So I'm going to be sticking to my original, what I've said, and I'm going to be trying to do 3 streams a week. The big review, which this is part 2 because it's the game week. Team selection, which I've done yesterday with my team selection and transfer thoughts. So if you want to know what they are for this game week, then please do go ahead. But in short, I'm pretty much going to be taking Almiron out at this moment in time for Mitoma. Ben White's going to start. If I look at my team, pick team for the game week, I might as well show you very quickly. Time are we on? Yeah, 1 minute to go and I have to go. So yeah, I'm going to be taking Almiron out. Crystal Palace got that late equaliser, so I think there will be slightly tougher opposition. They're at home as well for Newcastle, and Mitoma he's up against Leicester, who have been terrible, and I can just see returns for him there. So I can see an immediate return there, and then also it'll give me that little bit extra in the bank to upgrade Greenwood to Nonto, and then it'll be on a rotational basis because everybody else in my team, Kane, Haaland, Fernandes, De Bruyne, Rashford, Martinelli, they're all starters. So then it'll be a rotational, if you like, between Mitoma and Nonto, depending on the fixtures. Moving forward, not looking at the defence at this moment in time. So, get your button on the, get your finger on the like button, your thumb, sorry. Give us a like if you want to win the, I Love FPL mug. You know, it's the very first one. If you want one of those, so me and you can share a brew together in the future out the same mug, then get joining the league and show me who really loves it. Just remember, guys, I'm not an expert. I just loves it. See you later.